I told Pete privately, and I will tell it right now, I'm going to make it impossible for him to say no to me next year.
I love it.
So.
Find me a brick wall. All right, welcome to episode 2 of our elimination series. This is obviously the saddest series that we do on the channel. We had Angry Dragon in episode 1, but I do want to say thank you for hopping on. I do think it says a lot. Obviously, if I were to bow out of the competition in the near future, I'll make one of myself. So this is to anyone out there that got eliminated. Always an open invite to pop on like Nick is here. I think you just got to kind of take it. But yeah, what
Yeah.
was your initial reaction? Watching the video, you're seeing the names pop up. Was there a second during it that you were like, oh, this probably isn't looking good?
So first, I want to say one, congratulations on making it
Thank
through to
you.
the next round. Um, when Trev and I did my stream last week, we genuinely thought you were a lock. So I was shocked to see you in the contender space, um, as well as when there were when there were people that Trev and I chose to be eliminated,
Axed.
making it in the locks
Axed. That's what
category.
you guys kept saying. Axed. Yeah.
Yeah, Trev had Zach as eliminated, and we had someone else eliminated that made a lock, and we were. When I saw them, I was like, "It's game over. It's over. I'm out of here." And then like we got halfway through, and I saw someone else that was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, yeah, it's not for me."
Yeah, yeah. To your point about the lock thing, like I went into it thinking I had an outside chance. I probably thought close to 50-50 of being a locker contender
Hmm.
for myself. And then the second that the video started playing of like Pete hopping on and telling them like live on video, I was like, all right, let's reframe expectations and just hope we make it. So yeah, I don't know. We were saying last night the episode felt like it was an hour and a half long. Like the fact that it was
I know.
24 minutes is insane.
Yeah, like and in the in our group chat, the Townhouse group chat, long live the Townhouse, long live Townhouse. We were
Selling that.
talking as the video was going on, and we got down to the final lock, and like we were all trying to figure out who it is because like no one in there got a call, and Rick was like, it's not me," and then damn, it was Rick. So,
I did think that was interesting. I wonder why Pete didn't call him. Probably because he wanted to keep it a surprise, and maybe he didn't know if Rick was had the capability to keep it a surprise. Because when Pete kind of introed him, he's saying, "This is our biggest surprise of a lock." I did think Rick was going to be a lock though. But
mhm.
yeah, yeah. So you go through, your name doesn't get called. What's like the next 10 minutes? Or you just like close the computer and just kind of like sit back for a second and just like, okay, let me process this.
Well, I mean, I was at work. I kind of
Oh,
looked at my students. I looked at my students, and I was thinking, like, God, none of them better say anything for the next few minutes. No, I'm
yeah.
writing them up so fast if one of them says something, but it was fine. Um, I coach a spring sports, so we had practice immediately after school. Uh, Going to practice and doing that like put me in a better headspace working with them, and um, just we had a fun day of practice. We're first place in our conference, and we had 3 games last week. We won all 3 of them, and so
Okay.
first practice of the week is like, let's have some fun. I think we all need it. I was mostly doing it for myself, but like we're gonna have fun. Ended practice 30 minutes early, so.
Yeah, that's good to have other things to kind of take your mind off of it. And you're
Mhm.
thriving in the important things in life. There are way more important things than a reality show at the end of the day. But you
No,
have started. Okay, well, maybe. I
I'm,
mean,
I'm
I would
just,
just say that to be nice.
I know, I'm just kidding.
But you have started making a lot of content recently.
Yeah.
Your videos have definitely gotten better. I thought your stream with Trev, I was able to watch a little bit of it live, but then I went back and watched it later. I thought you guys had a really good cadence. And,
Hmm.
obviously these are recorded, so I have editing power after the fact, but I think going live is a completely different thing where at all times you have to be engaging, you have to be on. So kind of like, where do you see yourself going from here? Do you think it'll be more your short little 5-minute scripted videos, more streaming?
It's gonna be a mix of both. I think right now, when school gets out for the summertime, I'm grinding right now for sure. But I plan to do 2 live streams a week and 1 video a week for the entire summer. And hopefully into the when the school year restarts, do that as well. Um, and I see myself like I enjoy streaming. I enjoy like okay, it's one take. Whatever happens, happens. It's not scripted. It helps me a lot that way. The 2 videos I've posted, I probably spent 2 hours plus recording both of those just to get the perfect take, and they were both still not where I would personally want them. But I have to be okay with good and not great, and just start getting shots on goal, get my name out there. The more I do this, the better I'm gonna get, and just whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, that's
So,
definitely the biggest like fallacy that early creators fall into. And I'm the same way. Like I'm a perfectionist by
mhm,
nature. So I really struggle with rewatching anything that I do because I'll just watch it and I'll say I'll pick out like 1,000 different things. Like, oh, that edit should have been quicker, or like, oh, I should have used this overlay or this filter here. And so it's really
right,
hard to kind of be able to put it out there and feel like, you know what, I did my best at this person at this time and like, yeah, in 6 months, I'm going to be way better than I am right now. But it's just a gradual process of improving and improving and getting those reps. So if there were to be like a season two next year or a different opportunity that pops up, like the more that you kind of get experience, I think the better
yeah,
going forward anyone would be producing content. So yeah, that's definitely a true thing right there. But I do think like you've gotten a lot of views. Like one of your videos had
mhm,
almost 500 views. That's
yeah.
more than almost any video that I've ever made. So I
It's
mean,
just
you're
pure luck,
I
just absolute pure luck. I have no idea what happened. I went to
I don't
bed
know.
one night.
I thought it was a very like tight video. So I usually
Mhm,
do kind of like longer form stuff. So my videos are usually like 20 to 30 minutes versus I think having like
mhm,
bite-sized stuff where you're like, all right, I'm in, here's my takes, I'm out. I think that could be a lane that you would have a lot of success because I don't think, I think Alex Cups kind of does that. Like he does one player
mhm,
usually where he's like, let's talk about player X, let's talk about player Y, and that's his
mhm.
format, but being like, here's the 5 things you need to know. And I also wanted to give you credit. I did think it was really smart to do like a beginner best ball series of like,
Yes, that's like my main thing I want to do is like I love best ball. It's my favorite form of fantasy. To me, it's the best form of fantasy football. No matter what waiver wire warrior thinks in the Townhouse group chat, like I don't give a fuck about home leagues. Like I've lost my home. I've come in second to last or last place in my home league every year except for one. And the year I didn't come in last place, I won it. So it's either I'm
yeah,
going for first or last.
yeah,
Um, so I
trust
know
the
how
process.
yeah, brother, you're telling me, man.
Yeah,
Um, so I know how intimidating it is coming over to best ball. Like I said, it's my favorite form of fantasy, and I think if more people got into it, they would agree. And so the fact that it's so intimidating, and I feel like no offense to like Pete, Pat Corain, and like everyone who does best ball content, they are fantastic. There's a reason that they are so good at what they do and have all the views they do. But I feel like they're not really the entry source of best ball. They're more like, okay, this is the high level stuff we're talking about. This is the stuff we need to like, you need to know what they're talking about to watch it. And I think a lot of newcomers might get intimidated by it. And I want to be able to bridge that gap between someone brand new to best ball to get to like Pete, Pat Corain, Davis Maddock, all of those guys. So that's where I try to see myself is just be like hold their hand until like okay, this is what I know from best ball, this is what you need to do to raise your advance rate by like 2%, even though advance rate's not like the most important thing. It
yeah,
still helps, and like knowing like hey, it's week 17 stacking, that's still like, even though it's best ball mania 7 and that strategy is 5 years old, it's still something that people struggle with. I don't know if you saw, but do you know who Hope Bishop is?
I know the name. I'm sure if I saw him, I would know.
So she works for Underdog,
See,
and oh, you're good. You're good. You're just sexist. It's
probably
whatever. Women
that I
can't work in
definitely
fantasy
don't. I
football, Mitch.
definitely don't.
So she works for Underdog, and she's released a lot of behind the scenes data. And
Oh yes,
Best Ball Mania 6, only 4% of drafters used rankings. Like that's so strange to
yeah,
me. Like there's like I know Best Ball Bro streamer is a thing, but there's still an untapped market of people that we can get into for this format. And there's still people that I think are looking for gateways to this. Like, there's no reason 4% of people should be using rankings. I'm glad they are. I'm glad it's only 4% of people because that's like what 10,000 people I'm really truly competing with. Like, um,
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think like, Joe or whatever, like a random
yeah,
guy getting off of work, like if he hops onto a random video and he starts hearing combinatorial ownership, he's just gonna be like, all right,
yeah,
I'm out. Like I'm gone. So, and I think it's smart that you're kind of pairing your background or your professional job as a teacher with this
hmm
kind of series, because obviously you have a background in like teaching people and getting people to a certain point. And so,
hmm
that's a big thing also in reality TV that people always say, like, make sure you're playing to who you are as a person and to your background. Survivor, for example, will always cast like a couple of lawyers, a couple of teachers, and like
hmm
you always see the stereotypes kind of play out. Like people with a lawyer background are more conniving and manipulative versus people in another background have certain strengths. So I think playing to who you are as a core person and kind of marrying that with your content is definitely the way to go.
Right. And like I don't want to mistake what I'm saying as like I think people who are new to basketball are stupid. I don't think they are. I don't want to dumb down anything. I just want to be an entry point of like easy access to this format of fantasy football.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you think is like so if you were to stay in that lane, what do you think your content looks like 6 months from now? Like okay, we do like the beginner series explaining all that. Would you transition then to be like, all right, now that we have kind of the basics, we're gonna keep moving more and more advanced? Because I think that's like the
Yeah.
tough thing is like ultimately then you go down the line and all right, now I'm one of the best ball bros and now I'm making content for the best ball bros. Like I do think it's difficult to stay in that kind of like teacher mentality without
hmm
showing how sharp you are and showing all your edges.
So there's like in my mind, best ball like it's a year-round thing at this point. So I my first video was best ball like players I'm targeting in May. And June 1st, I'm going to put out a video say these are the players I'm targeting in June 1st. Whenever July comes around, same thing. Middle of July, I'm going to say these are the players I'm going to target in training camp before training camp gets crazy. These are the players
Yeah.
I'm going to target in the preseason, stuff like that. So it's repetitive. Do like what I did of this past Sunday, where I said, okay, these are 5 quick tips to help you be a better basketball player. Honestly, that video is not where it could be. I could recreate that video in a year with better graphics, better sound quality, better everything, as long as I keep grinding once I learn it and take everything I did in that video and redo it. Um, it's mostly, yeah, just basically that, just strategy, content. I
Yeah.
want to mostly stay in the most basics forms of best ball, but I would also like, of course, enjoy to get the more advanced stuff, combinatorial ownerships, like how many players you should be stacking a certain week, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah. And is there any specific pieces of feedback that you've gotten from this competition that you're going to bring with you forward? I know I was trying to follow along with some of the feedback that Pete was giving everyone last night. I think he mentioned that he told you like find your niche, which I
Yeah.
guess is like this is the niche that you're kind of looking at. Is there any other
Mhm.
specific pieces of content that you've gotten?
No, so I honestly I agree with Pete's like critique of me. It's the same critique I have. And honestly I think it's the same critique Pat Mayo would have had for me if I was put on there. But it was like he told me my submission was low energy, which I agree. Like, and I told Trev this on Thursday. Um, that hey, I was about to go on vacation to Tampa. It's all I could think about, and I didn't want to burden my girlfriend or myself on our entire vacation in Tampa with talking about this and thinking about this and thinking
Yeah.
about what I would have to do when we got back. So it's just like I need to get this out of here now. Just
Yeah.
to express it. Um, as well, he just told me to find a niche within a niche, and I think my niche is best ball, and the niche within it is helping beginner basketball players.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, do you have any regrets for the competition? If you had to go back to the start of it, would you have done anything differently?
I mean, like, not necessarily, no. I mean, I probably would have redone my submission video whenever he was telling people, hey, redo it, redo it, redo it. I probably would have redone it. But
Yeah.
I'm also in the mind frame, it's like, whatever happens, happens. So,
Yeah, I was kind of a hater on like the whole resubmission thing. I kind of felt
mhm,
like once you put your test in, like you should wait for it to get graded at that point. And if we are,
Hmm.
my whole thought was like, all right, if we are going to be touts, like you have to stand by your word and you have to stand by your work. And so if in a submission process, you're already kind of being like, oh no, doubting yourself or like, oh, let me change this. That was my
Hmm.
thesis. Like, hey, I want to show that I'm willing to stand by what I'm putting out there. Now, in retrospect, I probably would have resubmitted if I could have done it differently. I honestly didn't know that. So when we first submitted, how early did you submit? I think I submitted the first day. Were you
Day two.
second day?
I
When we
think you and I were
first
the same day.
Okay, maybe I was day two or something. But when I remember like, reading the prompt and reading, the submission and all that, and it seemed to me that we were submitting for Pete, and Pete and the internal team were going to make the decision. And then there was also the caveat of like, if you want to make it public, that will help you, but it's not a required thing. So my whole
Hmm.
thought was like, oh, okay, then this is only for Pete and his team. So I'm going to optimize my submission video for him. I'm going to make jokes in
Hmm.
there that he's going to understand. I don't really care what the public thinks. If they like it, that's great. So then to turn around and like the submission videos have been like so public and like fans are voting on it and we're having guest judges like Pat Mayo. And so by the way, this is not a complaint or anything. This is just
No, I
like
know.
the reason why I probably made mine a certain way. And I don't know if
Hmm.
you were similar where if you knew that it was going to be this driving force of really getting in and getting all this notoriety, would you have done it differently?
No, because I think I did a good job at least trying to market myself afterwards. Like you and I feel like we're one of the few to immediately jump into content. Like I know there's a few that started in the last week or so, but I feel like you and I like immediately jumped into it.
Yeah.
So I took what he said as far as like, okay, market it yourself afterwards, and that's what I did. I was 29 out of 135 on the fan vote. So it's like
Yeah.
I did a good job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of what I did. I'm proud of what I've done since, but I'm gonna keep grinding and doing what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I definitely think like if there were to be a season two next year, I think that if you continue to make content over the next year, you would be in a prime position to really put yourself in a good spot going into that. Do you
Hmm.
have any specific thoughts now? Like this is what I'm interested in, right? Is like now that you're out
Hmm.
of the competition, you can kind of speak more freely. Do you have any thoughts on like who you think is going to win or where you see the show going from here?
Cups. Like, there's no like, sorry, Mitch, love you, but
No, no,
like,
hey, open
Cups is my
forum.
favorite. Cups is like has to be the betting favorite. He has to be like plus 150.
Okay, I think plus 150 is insane. You think he's a favorite over Tyler and Goofy?
Um, those are the three favorites, and I'd put them at like, um, Cobb's at plus like 150. I'd put Goofy at like plus like 200 and Tyler at like plus 250. Like
Yeah,
they're right at range, and like the next person closest behind them is probably like plus 700.
yeah, okay, yeah,
And
and
I hope
yeah,
someone proves me wrong. I really hope someone proves me wrong.
we'll see. It's definitely early on. There's a lot of competition to go. Obviously, we have the contender competition coming up here shortly, and then we'll see what the
Hmm.
final cast looks like. I do think there's something to be said about people that haven't shown everything to this point. And
Hmm.
so I would say I'm one of the people that have shown a lot of what I can bring to the table. But I'll be interested if there's people that we've only seen 90 seconds of them. So like Rambus would be a good example of this. Like
Yeah, that's yeah.
he could flame out and he could like be terrible and just get out right away, but I think he's someone that like if he does have this energy he could
Hmm.
win the competition. And if he is like maybe he
That
was
would be
playing
crazy. I
character
would
in his
love to
submission,
see him
that would be
on a
great.
weekly show.
Like i would
Just
i would
him
tune in every week.
so
you know
good.
if we're optimizing for views, I would definitely tune in to watch Rambus. But yeah, no, that was kind of all I had. Did you want to bring up anything else before we hopped out of here?
I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I have beaten odds after odds like my entire life. Like, pediatric cancer survivor, had food stamps as a kid. My mom is a single mother. I'm the grandchild of an immigrant. I I barely graduated high school. I'm finishing my master's. I've done so many things in my adult life that people that grew up in my situation never get to do. Obviously, I do have advantages. I mean, clearly, I'm a white man. Like I have that I have that advantage. So it's being where I'm at today. I'm like, whatever happens, happens. I'm along for the ride. I just know that I keep being the odds my entire life. So like, cancer was nothing. Having a single mom, you know, being on food stamps as a kid, whatever. I'm gonna beat it. Whatever's in front of me. I told Pete privately, and I'll tell it right now. I'm going to make it impossible for him to say no to me next year.
I love it.
So,
Find me a brick wall. That is, man. That was good, man. That's the kind of motivation I need. I'm gonna get right back to work after this. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for hopping on. And yeah, to anyone else out there who just watched that and watched this entire video, like keep grinding, bro. No excuses. It doesn't matter how you fare in this competition. Like the world
Hmm.
is our oyster. I think we're a young kind of nucleus now. We all have these connections. I'm sure we'll make content in the future. I'm sure other people in the tout house and other people in the competition will link up, and we're the next wave, So like let's go out there and let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Catch you, brother.